All right, so our next guest is someone who's a great friend of ours. So I'm based obviously in the UK, and I'm in a number of WhatsApp groups, and one of my favorite friends is here now with us. It's Sally. Sally's epic. She's an epic hardcore PD. She knows everything about development, everything about design. You name something, she knows about it, and one of these people that hands-on does it. She still travels loads. Hardcore. Yeah, I wish I could be as hardcore as her. So hello, Sally.
Trouble, more like, I think.
No,
Thank you.
you're a troublemaker. Yeah, absolutely, but good troublemaker. So I'm going to leave you to it.
I can't believe you're calling me hardcore when I send you presentations on a Sunday and you're up till like 1 in the morning.
I'm still up working. Yeah, I'm hardcore as well, but I'm a different kind of hardcore. Lots of luck with your presentation. I'll be speaking to you in about 20 minutes. So
okay, that sounds good. Brilliant. Thanks, Moshin. Hello, my name is Sally and I work in fast fashion. It's something we really don't want to talk about at the moment, but unfortunately it's something that isn't really going to change anytime soon. So what I wanted to share with you today is some kind of simple steps and simple measures you can take to try and approach this responsibly, because our job now is to make the garments as responsibly as we can. So yeah, who am I? I'm Sally. I'm a freelance denim development specialist or product developer. I started my life quite a long time ago when I was lucky enough to work at Wrangler, when we manufactured in the UK, and we had UK factories and laundries as well, which was incredible. So I've learned hands-on a lot in factories. I have spent a lot of time in Bangladesh, and as you heard from Alice, it's amazing the journey Bangladesh has been on in the last 2 decades and the improvements we've seen there. I focus on every part of development, from design right through to laundry. And I'm really fortunate to have worked with some of those companies you see below on the screen. Most of the people I work with and the companies I'm asked to go into and help are really at the competitive price point end of the market. So you'll see my job is to work with them to improve the products, make them sustainable or responsible as best I can, but also engineer them into margin, because these companies have to make the money too. So fast fashion, customers do not want to pay more, especially at the moment. I mean, we've got huge unemployment coming our way in the UK. And as you saw post-lockdown, the biggest queues in the high streets were for Primark. People like to shop, and that's not going to change. I feel people will start to shop more responsibly, and I think that's happening already. Workers around the world rely on us for a regular income, and it's very important that if the volume drops too much, that we won't have an industry and we won't be able to support the workers that work so hard for us. So back in 2013, I'm sure you all heard about Rana Plaza. I was working at Tesco at the time for F&F, and this factory collapsed. We weren't producing in it, but it really sent a shockwave through the industry. And, you know, the whole of the industry rose to the challenge, the machine makers, the chemical companies and the producers, and they started this real drive towards better production. So now, as product developers, I believe we have to take the responsibility ourselves to use that technology that's there to us and to work with these people and create better fashion. Like you heard from Kerry earlier on, until businesses start to adopt the sustainable development goals, you know, and that is the way a business is led, we have to take the onus and really drive this forward. So I wanted to share a very quick story with you of why I kind of became who I am. So this was back in China in 2007. I'd been in the industry for a while, but I was visiting a new factory and I asked to see the laundry because I always want to see what I'm working with. And after a few hours of debating, they took me to this laundry and I walked in, and within seconds, my eyes were red, were streaming. The smell was horrendous. And I saw all these workers all lined up in rows making 3D creasing. Now, I'm a designer and I put a little squiggle on my design and I put an arrow saying, you know, use resin spray and that, but I didn't actually consider what they were using. And it was glue. It was formaldehyde with resin and glue. And they were slapping a hot iron on and basically glue sniffing on a mass scale. It was really upsetting and heartbreaking. And from that point in, I was like, I have to know every chemical and what is going into my garment. And you need to know, because you cannot brief things without understanding what you're briefing. So my lessons are: know your factory. Has it been audited? When I first started with a lot of the companies I worked for, I think probably 10, 15 years ago, Factory laundry audits were called third tier. So the factory would have an audit, but not necessarily the laundry. That's changed now. All the companies I work for do have a really strong laundry audit, but check that information is available to you. So if you get a factory, find out if it's audited, find out what's their strategy. You know, are they moving towards better production? Have they got sustainable initiatives? All the big factories in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, you'll find they have their own strategy and own mission to become greener and cleaner. Know your fabric, it's really important. Know your mill. Make the right choices with the mill, which I'll share with you. And know your laundry. Alice has just given you a great presentation on what's available, the technology from people like Tornello, to get to know it and know how it works so you can adapt it to what you're developing. Know your chemicals, that's a big one, as I just shared. Are they safe and are they right for the job, and how are they applied? How is the laundry using them? So here's a simple checklist. I use this a little bit with some of the retailers I work with, just so you can run through a few things and it will help you move on the journey to making better denim. So know your material is where I would start. When I start developing a garment, this is the first thing I do. And these are a few of the things I look at: the cotton, other fibers, recycled content, dyeing, fabric finishing, the performance of the fabric, because at the end of the day, we've got to make a great jean, shade selection. So to run through these, cotton source, you heard from the king of cotton, Andreola, that we have many, many choices with cotton. I'm not going to run through everything because I would talk all day and I talk too much anyway, but you can see there's some simple things you can discuss with the mill. Have they got BCI cotton? Have they got organic cotton? Where is it coming from? To get to know your cotton, because that's at the heart of what you do. Other fibers as well. I mean, I love working with Trisha at Lensing. She's incredible, and the team, and Michael, the things they've done there have been brilliant, and it's a very sustainable fiber. They've now developed for fibra, again, recycled tencel, but now we're seeing hemp coming into the market. I can't make a list of all the fibers. There's so many available to us for both elastanes and also cotton alternatives, but get to know what fibers are available in your mill. Recycled content. Can the mill add recycled content? Can the polyester be recycled or ideally biodegradable as we move forward? I think we're on a mission to use our waste in a better way. And I think most fabrics now I see will have waste engineered into them, either pre or post consumer, which is a great move forward and a very simple thing to do. Dyeing, how is the fabric dyed? So we're moving away from conventional dyeing methods that use lots of water as well to new techniques. There's just a few there to show you. Revelation Blue, less water. Crystal Clear that you've heard about from Artistic Milners earlier from Ebru. I mean, they're all reducing the water content, no sulfites, no aniline. So it's a much better way of dyeing. And also foam dyed, we're now down to nearly zero water in the dyeing method. And also the way they dye these fabrics as well makes it more responsive to the modern technology like laser that we're going to use in the laundry to check how it's been dyed. Fabric finish, you've heard as well from Candiani. They do the wonderful organic polymers and things that replace some of the sizing and the starches that we used to use that would need a lot of water to break open the fabric before we launder it. So we have vegetarian versions now. So there's new organic compounds being used to replace hard old chemicals. And then one of my favorite machines is the little G2 Dynamic. This machine treats the fabric after production with ozone, opens up the fibers, and it also makes the fabric really laser friendly. Gina Lagier, I'm sure, would share lots of information about that product that we see in many mills. So as I said, fabric performance, you must understand the fabric you're doing. Will the shade be right to deliver the right result? What's the composition? Is it sustainable as you can engineer it with the mill? Make sure the weight is right and it matches what you want to achieve post-wash. And what's the width and the shrinkage? This is really important to me. If you have a high shrinkage, normally we would have like 10-14%. If you've got 20% shrinkage, you're going to lose a fifth of the fabric, and you're going to have wavy yolks, and it's not going to make it cost effective for your customer. And that's a big thing to watch out for when you're trying to engineer affordable denim. All the information's on top of the hangers, as you can see. And choose the right shade. I mean, this is a whole topic in itself, but make sure you use the right shade. You don't want to start with a super dark shade if you're going to try and engineer a lighter sustainable wash, because you're going to waste a lot of energy doing it. Many of the mills now offer easy wash downs, like the AFM one in the corner. Obviously, Candiani fabrics are fantastic to wash down really fast. So make sure you're choosing the right shade for what you want to end up doing. I like to keep it simple, although this is probably too simple. A lot of people will say it's not that simple. But we have two measurement tools we can use at the moment in laundry. We have EIM from Genealogia, environmental impact measurement, and metro calculation that Alice just shared with you from Tornello. So we can actually measure how we wash the jeans and what we're doing. And this is a very basic guide to say, if it's you know, dark wash, it's obviously not going to have as big an impact on the environment. So it's going to be easy to get a green score. We just need to make some simple choices. But obviously, if we're going to wash something heavily bleached, we really need to consider the chemical, the fabric, and how we're going to do this and what machines we're going to use so we can engineer that high impact garment down to a green score. So as a loose rule, the light washes are what we need to really, really worry about most. So in laundry, we have lots of choices as well. I love a laundry. So know your laundry, know what equipment's available, how are they making the wet and the dry processing, what are they doing? So we have all these things I shall run through because I talk too much. The laser machine. So we've replacing, or we're starting to see on a mass scale, manual processing being replaced with laser. Having worked in companies like Bangladesh 5 years ago, we would see the odd laser machine. Now we see rows and rows of these things, and you know, it's much more prolific in the industry. So all those hand manual things can be replaced really simple, and you get great graphic control. As a designer and a developer, your templates can be incredibly detailed, so we can actually create some phenomenal things, and we can change the whole technology to do something very, very new. So as you can see down there, we have some images from Genealogia. We went out with Rowan, who's following, and we developed some of our templates, and then took that over to Bangladesh and replicated it in the machines and pushed them forward. So it's fantastic technology that can be used. Less water machines. If I see a big blue box like a Tornello in a factory, I always have a big smile on my face because I know we're going to be using less water, and everything they're doing is incredible. They can spray the water. We can definitely adjust. There are other machines out there. There's a SmartX, there's the Yilmac one there, but basically all these machines, these front loading machines, have replaced these big belly machines that used to be full of guzzled water. They ate it and they delivered sludge back into the ETP. So now we have much cleaner machines, and we need to check in the laundry if they're available to us. Ozone as well, great technology. Alice just told you about O-Bleach. We have the G2 Dynamic as well, the G2 ozone machine, which again pre-treats, and we can wash and bleach down the denim with ozone, which obviously the byproduct is air. Incredible technology you can use. Robot sprays, this is the robot you can see. They're only starting to appear in the factories. I think Sanjeev, who's talking later, has one in Cytex, but this is actually like delivering chemicals in a much safer environment, and we'll see a lot more of those in the future, I believe. Drying, again, talking of Sanjeev, this is his wonderful, simple system, low energy drying. Take all your jeans out of the washers, rack them up in the ceiling and dry them in the heat before they go in the dryer for the last part. A very simple approach to a really easy, cost, low energy production. So, and there's another Italian dryer there that would save energy. Cloud technology, again, we're washing with fog, we're washing with bubbles, we're not washing with lots of water. There's amazing things available. You can have an e-flow machine, or that's the core technology. I was in a laundry in Mauritius, very nice place to go if you get there, with EDI, and we were trialing some new enzymes and some new wash systems for ASOS. So we were working on how to reduce all the water in our washing process. Great technology, washing with bubbles. And then get to know your chemicals. Obviously green chemicals, you heard Alberto from Hub 1922. I have driven these guys nuts over the years. If I'm in a factory and I see a chemical in the store, I'm like, what does it do? How does it work? What can I use as an alternative? And all of these companies on there, if you go on their website, they have information and they will help you learn about these chemicals so we don't go, you know, injuring people in a laundry. And fake stones are easily available now and on the market. Obviously pumice is not very good, it creates sludge. And we're mining a great big hole in Turkey. So to use fake stones and better enzymes is definitely the way forward to create a greener jean. So this is my little checklist. If you tick off some of these boxes, you're on the way to producing sustainable denim. It's quite simple, I think, but these are just, it's a guide to give you the questions to ask. And I think that's all it is at this stage, is if you're learning, you're a student. I wish somebody had told me the questions to ask when I started out on my journey. But if you follow these simple steps on fabric and laundry, you're certainly heading the right way for the future. So to end, I apologise. I've been part of the problem. I started back in the 90s and we really did make a bit of a mess. You're inheriting quite a big mess. So I think I encourage you to think differently, learn from our mistakes, reach out to us. We're all here if you need help. I think a lot of the answers are in nature. I think as we move forward, we'll see a lot of biological biomimicry is amazing, and new natural solutions to our industry. So be brave and think differently. If you're designing your garments as well, I think you mustn't just think about the end consumer. So what your garment looks like hung in a shop is extremely important, but you also need to think, who's the person that's making that jean? Who is the lowest paid worker in the factory? And how are they making that garment? And you need to consider your development to suit their needs as well, because their salary, you are responsible for that person's earning as well. So for now, fashion's fast and it's not going to change overnight, but I do believe it's very easy and simple to create sustainable and responsible denim in high volume. And yeah, until then, that's my little chat to you. Was that okay?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it's that was unbelievable. They're so lucky. I wish I had that checklist as well when I was starting out. Goodness me, that's like the ultimate checklist, to just walk around, even at like a Kingpin show or whatever, just tick off if all these things like are on those fabrics that you're picking. I have a question, like, before we start. What's been one of you've been in the industry, you've been in the industry for a while. So what's the best place that you've like visited that's the most sustainable, and the one that you really enjoyed traveling to? So it's a weird question.
It's really, really hard question to answer because, as I say, I've spent a lot of time in Bangladesh. I think I'm proudest of the work in Bangladesh that's gone on. I met actually Tornello at a conference after Rana Plaza, and I saw how the industry came together. And I got to present, in fact, there were 150 I think factories there, and they were all like, how do we go sustainable? So I was saying, these are the opportunities I see. And to see, a factory like Vintage, who put in coil heating under the ground, under the earth, they're using the resources and the heat that they have naturally. I think it's been really exciting to see those big factories, the Kent Parks, Pacific, everything, the change they've gone through. So I'm really proud of them. In terms of most sustainable, I think everywhere still has problems. It's a journey we're on, but the technology is there and it's going to get better and better. But yeah,
every single time I hear a new mill coming up, or then they're all adapting new technology. If it's Cytex being in like the new LA, everyone is doing something new, and it's just everyone's getting better and better, and that's the main thing. That's quite cool.
Yeah, it's become a bit of a competition, but a really healthy competition. And it's like every factory wants to better the next, and I love that. So they're all on this journey together. So yeah. Absolutely.
Let's go through some of the questions. There's a few here. We've got 7. Hi, Sally. Thanks for sharing. What's your advice you give for an experienced designer going out on their own and establishing a consultancy business in these uncertain times? Great question.
Oh, it's hard. It's like, yeah, I've been freelance for about 20 years. So invoice on time and manage your invoicing is really important, because nobody ever pays you on time. That's probably the biggest thing we all need to learn and need to do. Just make sure, as I say, like me, make sure you have the knowledge and you research and learn, and you can offer lots of different things. Every customer is different and has different needs. So when I worked with ASOS last year, we were setting up water reduction to be able to wash the jeans much better. So it was a real laundry focused project. Whereas somewhere like Marks and Spencer's, we re-engineered all the fabric and everything into a cost price, and to improve those products as well. So make sure you understand and are clear and can offer a service on all those things. But yeah, you have to be efficient. You have to work hard. As you know, we all work long hours. You've got to love it. If you want to do this job, you have to love it, because
I think over the COVID period, obviously because we're friends, and I know that our little group, even when we got inspired by like Rowan, and we all decided to do the e-designer training, and then you've gone off and you've done loads of stuff by yourself. I've got a spare week, I'm going to go and learn a new thing about denim again. I'm going to go to a washing facility. So you're never stopping, and that's the main thing.
You can't stop. You've got to try new things and experiment, because how are we ever going to move forward? And it's boring. It's like there's always the next challenge. We can do our job better. Every company I've worked with, you better yourself every time, because you learn, you take on board that experience, and you move forward. Yeah. And the people are there to ask. If we didn't drive these companies mad, they'd have nothing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Terry's asking, can jeans and other denim products be made sustainable while maintaining competitive price point to be able to be fast fashion? Oh, yes, of course.
I absolutely believe it. I think there's levels of sustainability as well here. So, but yes, because I've worked in 2 or 3 companies now, I think we've ended up re-engineering the fabric, changing the dyeing, changing the fibers. So maybe the fabric price has gone up a tiny bit to compensate, but it's finished in a way that you don't need as much water in laundry. So when a very big retailer in the UK, when we did this in 2 or 3 factories, by using less water in laundry, using the ozone and using the laser, we actually offset the cost, and we came out with a 15-cent benefit. So by changing all that production, and it was huge volume, to a slightly better fabric, but with a really solid like laundry process, we saved money. So I believe it can be done. I mean, there are different levels of sustainability, and some of the most beautiful fabrics are a bit more expensive. But yes, we can make it better, or responsible, as I like to call it, make the right choices.
Absolutely. Someone's asking, how can I connect with you? You can go to her like LinkedIn, and she had an email up on the side of the presentation.
There's an email on there, and at SALLI Denim, and yeah, just track me down on that email.
What's our friend like sort of Aniha, who's going to be talking a bit later, is asking, what's the most sustainable brands you know? Okay, hard question.
Who's that?
Niha, she's going to be talking in the sustainable panel.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's really hard to say. There's so many out there at the moment. I was talking to the guys from New In the other day. I mean, they've just launched their fully recycled jean with factory in Turkey I know really well. So they're doing a great job there. They're working with a mill really closely, recycling all the fabric and making in a circular way. So there's lots of brands on that journey. They're very small. I've always respected like, Levi's, of course, are doing some great things on a mass scale. So I kind of like when they launched FLX and that whole project, which I know is a little bit marketing, but it's certainly the right direction. They're sharing the direction to go on. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice one. One of the last questions. Hi, Sally. Great presentation. Development countries adapt with new technologies. Is there an employee cut because of these smart technologies? So I guess these new machines, are they reducing the amount of workers, or not really, or so? Depends.
I was worried about that, and I think it's something we've all been conscious of, that the workers will lose jobs. But what had happened, like if I look at somewhere like Pacific in Bangladesh, which is a great factory, they have about 50, last time I was there, about 50 laser machines, and they had taken the operators off the manual operation, and they were on there working together in teams of 2 or 3, putting the jeans down. So they had made sure that everybody had a job. So I think there's other jobs that come out of this. There's lots more management, you know, there's going to be more jobs encouraging people to go more digital. So they're
going to need technicians, right, to fix half these machines and all the rest of it. So knowing the factory environment is quite important. Someone's asking, appreciate your absolute true about Bangladesh denim finishing technology. You're doing a great support to the denim industry. There you go. So someone's just praising you there. Very nice. Epic, Sally, your presentation was awesome. Great for the students. I agree. And it's so nicely how you presented it as well. Very nice and relaxed and calm. And yeah, this definitely is going to be rewatched many times. Are there any more questions, guys, for Sally before we move on? We've got another few minutes. But if we're good, then we're good. No, you've been amazing. Thank you for spending your time with us. Thank you for organizing this. And each of these guys, each person has spent some time doing these presentations. It takes a long time to do, and thank you for sharing it with us. It's absolutely epic. And thank you, Sally.
No, we're welcome to share. Enjoy Rowans. Take care. Thanks, Moshin.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.